When my niece was little, she absolutely refused to wear shoes. It didn't matter how cold it was, her parents simply couldn't get her to wear them. She just wasn't having it. She'd happily run around on stones, stubbing toes, getting prickles and stepping on bees, but nothing could convince her that shoes were better than bare feet. Until the day my brother, her father, had a cunning idea. He'd bought her some nice new shoes that he was sure my niece would like, but she didn't and wouldn't put them on. So he took her aside and whispered, "There's something different about this pair, but I need to know if you can keep a secret." He told my shoe-hating niece that these shoes were very special, quite magical actually. She looked at her daddy wide-eyed as he told her that these shoes were no ordinary shoes, they were very rare bug-squashing shoes. And when she put them on, she would be able to stomp on bugs and snails much better than she could if she just had bare feet. My little niece couldn't get those shoes on her feet fast enough. This is a cute story, and what it illustrates is the power of message framing. Framing the narrative to suit your agenda. If you've ever been on a film set, you'll have seen the director making a frame around the subjects using the thumb and forefinger of both of his hands. He's directing the cameraman what he wants to be seen in the frame and what to leave out. He's framing information, and the viewers will only see what he wants them to see, and what they see will affect how they react. This is the essence of framing. Framing is something that we all do, whether it's consciously or not. We all frame up information to convince people of our beliefs, sometimes without even realizing it. We do it because the reality is most of us are far more frame-driven than we are fact-driven. We can be more swayed by an emotive framed context than the cold hard facts. Framing is an effective influencing tool, but what happens when it's taken into politics? And what happens when arguments end up being unfairly skewed by information that is included or left out? The way in which political messages are framed can strongly influence how we perceive the meaning of the message and the political party delivering the message. And this is why you should be worried. When you frame something, you can make it sound like almost anything. And that's what happens so often in politics today. The facts are out there somewhere, but they get wrapped up in this pretty bow of opinion and bias and nonsense until they're practically unrecognisable. Here's a few examples from international politics. When Trump won the US presidency in 2016, he did it by framing Hillary Clinton as Crooked Hillary. In his second election in 2020, he framed Joe Biden as Sleepy Joe. In February 2022, Russian President Vladimir Putin framed the military invasion of Ukraine as a special military operation and banned anyone from using the words invasion and war. As ridiculous as this seems, well over 50% of Russians support Putin on this. Conversely, President Zelensky has framed Putin's invasion as a war with the West and a war on democratic values in an attempt to get more countries on board. Back home in New Zealand, all our political parties use it, and Jacinda Ardern is particularly good at it. Was her 10-minute preamble before every COVID announcement framing? Absolutely it was. While we were all hanging out for the latest data or update to the lockdown settings, she would spend 10 minutes or so telling us how well we and the government were doing in the fight against COVID and how we were leading the world in our response. By the time we actually got to the case numbers, the context had been created that we were all doing well. This is framing 101, and I think I speak for a lot of Kiwis when I say we got pretty tired of it. Labor hasn't just used message framing for their COVID response. They also spent millions of dollars running ads trying to soften the public on their Three Waters policy by creating fear, showing, among other things, green liquid coming from a coughing water pipe with a thermometer in its mouth. Many councils found this insulting and the ads were ultimately pulled. Conversely, the parties on the right recently reframed rampaging inflation as a cost of living crisis. This certainly captured the attention of the public, and the media is now widely using this term to talk about our inflation problem. So why does framing matter? Because it's powerful. When done well, framing can persuade people to think differently about a topic. but it can be used for both positive and negative purposes. If you understand how framing works, you'll have a better chance of seeing through the spin and making up your own mind. Framing isn't inherently good or bad. It doesn't have to be a dirty trick or a dishonest tactic, but it can be used that way. It's up to you to make sure that you're aware of how messages are being framed and to evaluate them critically. I'm Steve Ballantyne, narrative strategist at Brand IQ for the Common Room. To see more videos like these, subscribe at commonroomnz.com.